Homeland Security and Judiciary Committees, as well as chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Wolf.
All right, so as you heard in our lead story, Trump campaign ally Ted Malloch thinks he was questioned by the special counsel's investigation because he's writing a book accusing the so-called deep state of trying to destroy President Trump. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Absolutely not. I think that this president and his team and conservative media, they like to create rabbit holes and hope that we go down and chase them. I think that the Mueller investigation has been very methodical. I think it's very thorough. And he's taken his time to make sure that they don't make any mistakes. So I have full confidence in it, and I have the patience to wait until Mueller and his professionals come back with a recommendation of what in fact happened and paint the picture for the American people of what's going on.
What do you think, Congressman, of the Attorney General Jeff Sessions' decision to have a prosecutor, a career prosecutor, not a second special counsel, look into Republican claims of FBI and Justice Department misconduct?
That's just Jeff Sessions trying to get back in the good graces of the president. The president has called him disgraceful. The president has called him every word under the sun when it comes to incompetent, untrustworthy, and everything else. And I think he's just trying to find a way to get in the good graces of not only the Republican chair of the Judiciary Committee, Goodlatte, but also the president. There's an inspector general in the FBI that could do this work. But I think that this is more part of their smoke screens and mirrors to distract people from the real issue, and that is the Russian meddling in our presidential election, which is an act of war by many accounts, and also to prevent people or distract people from looking at any role that the Trump campaign had in colluding with the Russians.
Is the Attorney General, in your opinion, safe in his role right now?
Well, it depends on which Trump wakes up. And I firmly believe that the Trump administration governed by chaos is not a governing philosophy without a strategy. I think that every time you see a real step in the Mueller investigation, you see the president do something drastic to distract the American people from the investigation and therefore have them talking about a fired cabinet secretary, whether he's talking about NFL players taking a knee at during the national anthem. He will always find a distraction every time this Mueller probe heats up. So do I think the Attorney General is safe? I don't know. But the truth of the matter is I really don't care. I care about Mueller being safe, but this Attorney General is incompetent at best. And has his challenges with race and justice and equality. So you won't see me on here defending Jeff Sessions.
Let's turn to another sensitive issue that's unfolding right now. We're following these late-breaking developments in the shooting deaths of 2 African Americans at the hands of police, Alton Sterling in Louisiana, Stephon Clark in California. Louisiana's Attorney General, as you know, decided not to file charges against the 2 police officers involved in Alton Sterling's death, and we're waiting to hear if they will lose their jobs. We're also expecting the release of video of the shooting. What does the treatment of these officers tell you? I know you're studying it very closely.
I am, and it's unfortunate that the officers won't see their day in court and be judged by a jury of their peers. And I think that's the biggest breakdown for people in urban America, African Americans, and others who are seeking justice, is that these officers all across the country are never charged. They never have to go before a jury and explain their actions. So we have a number of dead African Americans who did not possess a weapon, and no one has to defend that. And at the same time, we're supposed to believe that justice is colorblind, or that the scales of justice are balanced. And that, I believe, is the biggest erosion in the African-American community. But my biggest disappointment in this case is that if we had true community policing that was funded like it used to be under during the Clinton years, those officers that responded would have known Alton Sterling by name. He was at that store every night doing the same thing. And if you had true community policing, it would have been a little bit different because they would have walked up and said, Alton, what the hell are you doing? Come here. And that's, I believe, where we're gone wrong with the warrior mentality of policing as opposed to the guardian.
Congressman Cedric Richmond, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf, for having me.